So how many Nazi flags does it take? How many donors from the Capitol riots, it's 1,100 and counting, who have donated to these illegal blockades? How many guns need to be seized? How much vitriol do we have to see of honk honk, which is an acronym for Hail Hitler, do we need to see by these protesters on social media?
Hello, everyone. My name is Swamp.
You silly bitch.
Justin Trudeau has revoked the Emergencies Act. Well. I'm pretty sure it was just last week he invoked it. Monday, Parliament voted and approved it, and now he's done with it. I wonder what could have possibly made him change his mind. But regardless, we all know that this is not close to being over yet. With trucker convoys being organized around the world and these mandates still being in place, I don't see an end to this anytime soon. So, in honor of the Emergencies Act being revoked and the people getting a small win, just a small one, here's another episode of What a Wonderful World, eh?
I can't imagine that anyone who votes no tonight is doing anything other than indicating that they don't trust the government to make incredibly momentous and important decisions at a very difficult time.
We don't trust their promises.
But like I said, I am confident that the majority of parliamentarians will stand up to support our values, to stand up to support our democracy.
Thank you, Speaker. Parliament Hill is now cleared. Most of the charges in Ottawa involve trespassing and mischief. Tow truck operators already were compelled to help authorities before the Emergency Act. Our borders were cleared prior to the never-before-used law being activated. Organizations like the Canadian Civil Liberties Association tell us that the government isn't limiting the act to just Ottawa. It applies universally across the country. It does not target just one specific protest and applies to every single Canadian. So going forward, Speaker, how often does the Prime Minister plan to use the tool of last resort as a tool of first resort?
For anyone who is concerned that their accounts may have been frozen because of their participation in these illegal blockades and occupation, the way to get your account unfrozen is to stop being part of the blockade and occupation. These measures were put in place to disrupt illegal activity in Canada.
And I believe that when you survey the conduct of law enforcement over the last number of days, what you have seen is restraint. I mean, take a look at the way that the police carried themselves throughout the course of dealing with the illegal occupation here in Ottawa. There was a degree of professionalism and focus, despite the fact that there was an emotionally charged atmosphere, despite the many provocations and intimidation and at times efforts to assault police officers. And that, despite all of that, we saw minimum use of force.
Hold the line! Hold the line! Hold the line!
I think even the member opposite would acknowledge that when we see the type of criminality taking place on the streets of Ottawa, when we see the attacks on our critical infrastructure and cutting off vital supply lines into this country, that constitutes an emergency because of the harm committed against our country and our citizens. And Mr. Speaker, we are prepared to do what is required, and we're working very closely with law enforcement, Mr. Speaker, who have the important task of restoring the rule of law to our streets and protecting our citizens and our critical infrastructure. And we will only use those measures as long as they are required.
What power is needed right now, today, under the Emergency Act that doesn't already exist under current Canadian law?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
After weeks of people being harassed in their neighborhoods and seeing small businesses forced to close, after billions of dollars were stalled in trade, putting people's livelihoods at risk, after evidence of increased ideologically motivated violent extremism activity across the country, and after a flood of misinformation and disinformation washed over Canada, including from foreign sources, it became clear that local and provincial authorities needed more tools to restore order and keep people safe. I ask all members of Parliament to stand up for Canada this evening. This is responsible leadership.
Today, after careful consideration, we're ready to confirm that the situation is no longer an emergency. Therefore, the federal government will be ending the use of the Emergencies Act. We are confident that existing laws and bylaws are now sufficient to keep people safe. Of course, we'll continue to be there to support provincial and local authorities if and when needed. And I want to reassure Canadians, law enforcement agencies are prepared to deal with anyone engaging in unlawful or dangerous activities. Police officers will continue to be there to protect our streets and neighborhoods within their jurisdictions.